When they initially hired me to launch Alvesco, and we started doing all the reading on the binders on the disease state and relievers versus controllers, and then what Alvesco had as a benefit, I was excited because it was something I'd be passionate about personally.
I remember in 2006, September, we launched Alvesco in Arizona, and probably one of the most exciting meetings that I've been a part of. We were launching a second generation inhaled steroid that met almost every single need that physicians wanted.
It's funny because you talk to people who have sold this drug, whether for a short period of time or a long period of time from launch, and it's like another child. Like, you just get excited about it, and it's hard not to be passionate about Alvesco.
I think compliance not only is the biggest issue with the asthmatic as a patient, but I think it's what the doctors see most often. So whether it's a specialist or a GP, they may or may not have encountered safety side effects, but all of them have encountered compliance. So I think that's the most common ground where you can talk to them and start a conversation and bring it back to the patient, because they can all agree. Like, there's not a single GP out there that won't agree that they are having issues with their patients taking their medication every day as prescribed.
As you know, the mainstay of all asthma management, whether it's the GINA guidelines, whether it's the Canadian guidelines, it doesn't matter which guidelines you're looking at, it's going to be inhaled corticosteroids. And parents don't love using steroids. I mean, that's the bottom line, and I totally get that. Nobody wants their kids on medications. That's the reality. They don't want them on medications, and it doesn't mean it's just steroids. It's any medications. Their parents are concerned about them being able to do sports, and that's a big one. I mean, we have in this area in Burlington Oakville area, there's a heavy emphasis on sport performance, and I think that is something that a lot of parents will want. They want their kids to be able to perform these types of things.
Ava's a type of child that does not complain, so she's almost like a silent sufferer. So what I saw was when she would get really sick, she was just a different child. She was sad, she was quiet, and she loves, not many kids love it, but she loves school, loves learning, loves being with her friends, and she would want to go to school, and I couldn't send her because she was so sick. So that was really hard for her and for me.
Yeah, I missed sometimes 4 weeks of school. Affects me at school because if I am at school, when I have my coughing and stuff like that, then I'm embarrassed because I cough so much, and then the teacher has to repeat what she says.
Trying to balance even, a working mom, and with how much school she was missing as well, was a challenge, and I have a good support system, thank goodness, but, missing school, when these colds would happen, I knew as soon as it would start that it was going to be a long process, because some people have colds and get all over them right away, but hers would last for weeks.
As a parent, you kind of, want the best for your child, and there's different aspects I imagine to it. We all know there's different benefits around Alvesco, but if I forget that for a moment and just think as a parent, for your child, I wanted the safest, the best medication that's available. And not that I was worried about growth, so to speak, because being 6'4", there's a good chance my son's going to be tall. But if that, if that in itself takes anything away of his desires or dreams to become, a great soccer player or a hockey player, whatever the case, as a parent, you don't want to live with that guilt. And so for me, it was simply uttering the words, "Is there an alternative?" to his physician, and that was enough for him to believe why Alvesco was a better choice.
When we talk to parents, I say, listen, we are going to pick the safest one that's available, and this is the reality. This is the exact conversation that we have. We say we're going to use low doses, and we're going to pick the safest inhaled corticosteroids that are available, and for that reason, that's what we do.
The data that we have is so strong and so robust, it's overwhelming almost. It's so significant. When you look at the article that was published by Skoner and colleagues, that has so much impact.
I know even personally, my son plays hockey, and there's 2 boys actually in the room that actually take Alvesco, and they both said to me it's changed their life, specifically sports, because he plays at a very competitive level. Just to watch it in the community, watch it in my daily, my job, and just to hear the stories from physicians and parents on how these medications have really helped, these children on a day-to-day basis, whether it's in school or in sports or at home, how it's really improved their quality of life. So, and I'm proud to be part of a company like this where we can offer a medication that I truly believe in, because I've seen it in my daughter and I've seen it in my work and my personal life. So,
Yeah, now that I have the medicine, I can breathe normally and I can go to school, and I don't miss much school at all.
I think Alvesco has benefits even to this day. So 9 years later, I'm obviously still an asthmatic. I'm obviously still selling Alvesco. And I still think that there is absolutely no reason why people shouldn't be on it, or at least offer it as an option to their patients.
The whole story of Alvesco is what really ties it into being able to get out there every day, even 9 years later, to talk about a product that really is beneficial for their patients and really has all these benefits over what they're using the majority of the time. And so it helps you to be able to talk about a product even years after launch and still be excited about it every day.
I think that what you guys have is quite honestly addresses the parental concerns. It provides good clinical effect, no question about that, and it provides the security to parents that you're addressing the concerns about the potential for side effects. And not only parents, my concerns. I mean, I don't want to cause growth suppression. I don't want to cause I've seen adrenal suppression. I don't want to cause these things in my patients. And so these are you are addressing those, and you are reversing those things. And that to me is one of your strongest points. It's not simply, yeah, we're like everybody else, but we're in a different color puffer. You really provide, I think, the option to provide a safer medication with good clinical effect, and that's huge from my perspective. Yeah, that's why we choose it.
If I just